No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, Fly Fishing Guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Friday to you, Jay Tust. We made it to Friday, another week almost in the books here, and we appreciate everybody starting their day, starting their weekend off with Bronco Nation News. We have the football schedule to talk about. We have a big basketball game at ExtraMile Arena tomorrow to talk about. And Jay Tust, we're going to make folks wait a little bit longer, a little later in the show. We're going to make a pretty cool announcement for Bronco Nation News as well. So going to be a fun show here.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Big weekend on tap and big game tomorrow over at ExtraMile Arena. It feels like Boise State is just so close to making this March Madness thing official. And you figure Saturday's win, it seems like it would all but do it.
It's been pretty funny, Jay, all the guesses for the announcement, by the way. I will just throw this out there right off the bat. This is not a Boise State announcement. This is a BNN announcement. There were people saying, oh, they're announcing that the football stadium's expanding. Oh, they're announcing a new coach. No, when you have the BNN logo on the graphic and big announcement, folks, the announcement has to do with Bronco Nation News. So I would not put big announcement and tease something for Boise State. Just throwing that out there. That happens every time we make an announcement for BNN. This is a BNN. I guess kind of it's a Boise State related announcement, Jay, but it is a BNN announcement. They're not hiring another football coach. Something's guessing NIL related. Kareem the Dream's asking about Mike Walsh. I hinted that Walsh was involved. They never said Mike Walsh was coming on. I'll just throw that out there. So Excited about it. It's going to be cool. Jay Tust is going to be involved. Our special guest is going to be involved, and we're going to tell you about that here in about 20 minutes or so. So appreciate you guys for hanging with us. Our guest is going to join us a little later, and might as well just keep the guesses coming and keep the suspense building, I guess. And some people may not think it's a massive announcement, but I think for my company and the business that I'm growing, Jay, here at Bronco Nation News and what we're doing together, I think it's a nice little step in the right direction, a cool little milestone, I guess, that we're hitting as we continue to build this thing. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll tell you about that here a little bit later in the show. But where do you want to start, Jay? Basketball game tomorrow, or do you want to talk about the football schedule?
Up to you, man. Yeah, up to you. I'll jump on the bandwagon with whatever you want to.
We're going to spend most of the time on basketball, so let's just get the football schedule out of the way first. Here it is on the screen. We knew about the non-conference games. We knew about the which games were home, which games were road. We just didn't kind of know when they were going to be. And Jay, I think the first thing is no home game till week 4 kind of stinks. What else kind of stands out to you here?
It is a really interesting schedule. So oftentimes in these schedules, usually it's like home away, home away, home away. There are like road trips and home stands and road trips and home stands. It's a really, really interesting schedule. I'll say one thing that I guess that stands out to me a little bit. There are 2 buys, which is significant. And, when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have liked it because I just wanted to be watching football. But now 2 buys in one season, I will absolutely take. But outside of that, the back end of the schedule gets stacked up a little bit. There are 5 games in the month of November. Just kind of the way the calendar falls, I understand that, but 5 games in the month of November this year. So there are going to be spans where you get to see the Broncos a lot at home, and then there are going to be times where you're like, man, it's been a month. When do we get to watch a game on the blue? So, not a lot of this in their control, obviously, but I would say those are a couple of things that stand out to me. And then personally, I was really hoping for BJ, the game against Washington State to be on the November 30th, just because I'll probably have family in town for Thanksgiving.
Sure.
We kind of figured that the Cougs are going to be earlier in the year, so I'll still take Oregon State that weekend. That's a heck of a way to wrap up the regular season. So I will absolutely take that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Getting the bye after the Hawaii game, I think, is nice, Jay. Also, very interesting though how they have like the no home game for a month, and they have 3 in a row, and then they go almost another month without a home game. Just kind of weird the way the schedule works out. And yes, having the quote unquote non-conference game to finish the regular season, Boise State could. I guess they might not have it locked in yet because other teams have to play that week. But Boise State will be done with their conference schedule when they play Wyoming the week before Thanksgiving. They were, some thought maybe you'd put the Mountain West game in there, Jay, on the 14th instead of having, a home game just to not have to go too far without the first home game. I love the 2 buys. I know it's just weird this year because of when Memorial Day or Labor Day falls and all that kind of stuff, but I think they need to find a way to do this every year. I mean, for player safety, for health, letting them rest up, an extra week of full, your team may not play an extra game, but there's going to be a full slate of college football those days when your team doesn't play. So I would love 2 buys every year if it were at all possible.
I think when you get to know the guys a little bit and understand what they go through just to get on a football field and play, that's whether that's here, Boise State, Washington State, anywhere across the country, these guys are insane, man. Like what they do to their bodies, how they get ready, some of the pain injections, if you will, that they got to take just to play and perform. And so having an extra bye built in, I agree with you, man. Start the season a week earlier. Get these guys an extra bye in the middle of the season to allow them to rest up. Maybe be student, then athlete. For a couple weeks out of the fall. And I agree with you. I would love that idea. I also think that the buys fall on really ideal times for Boise State. Like if you only had 1 bye and it was September, you would be pretty agitated about that probably.
That's the basketball team had that first bye before conference play even started and had to play 11 in a row.
I mean, I know that Leon put a positive spin on that thing early on, and I think it helped them early on. But then, eventually it kind of caught up with them because they just had to play a lot of basketball. But you look at Boise State; they have to go across the country to play Georgia Southern. Then they come back, go over to Eugene to play what you figure is going to be a really physical team, coached by Dan Lanning, the Oregon Ducks. And so you get a bye after that before you come back home and have your home opener against an FCS school. So I would understand, like, Bronco Nation probably doesn't love the fact they have to wait till the end of September to see Boise State on the blue against an FBS opponent. But, like, there's only so much I will promise you all this. Boise State explored everything. And I mean everything when it comes to, trying to move games, maybe move series, whatever it might have been. They tried everything to just kind of rotate this and adjust it. But at the end of the day, these were really the cards they were dealt. And so they're not going to play an FBS school on the blue until the end of September. Portland State, not until, essentially week 4 of the regular season. You're going to have to be a little patient, Bronco Nation. But I also know that Boise State's pretty creative in the way they go about their business. So maybe, just maybe, they'll kind of figure out something that will, serve as an appetizer for fans, not making them wait all the way until September 21st to see the Broncos.
Well, why are they playing at Georgia Southern? Like, come on, Kurt Absey, what are we doing here? Like, I mean, I think when they scheduled it 10 years ago, Georgia Southern was coming off like a 9 or 10 win season or something. But like, come on, that's just the fact that they couldn't get out of that or switch that up in this day and era of college basketball. It just seems like such a weirdly placed, odd game that's not really in a recruiting area. I just that one kind of stinks for everybody involved.
And it puts Boise State in a tough spot because Boise State's not in a situation right now where they can just afford to buy out contracts, right?
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, Georgia Southern wants Boise State to be, to sell tickets for their own, purposes, right? Which I understand. So, they tried what they could, and again, these are the cards that they were dealt. But overall, I like the buy. So the second buy, by the way, I wanted to bring that up. That's after Hawaii, which
perfect timing.
It is. I mean, a long trip out there. Everybody. It's really funny. I always thought like Hawaii was the best trip. If you're in a conference with the Rainbow Warriors, that's the best trip, right? Not really, because you do a lot of traveling to get out there. Depending on the time of the game, it's not like you get to just like go to the beach and then the game's over. You get on a plane and you go back, right? So it's not necessarily the best trip if you are, a player, a coach's wife, family, whatever it might be. It's not like you get to like really enjoy the island. So, although Johnny,
former college play-by-play broadcaster John Mallory, you coach, you call a 2-hour game, and Johnny gets a couple days on the beach, I guess.
I guess so. Maybe that works out for them, but that's not.
We know Johnny and Jay put in the exact same amount of work in terms of getting ready for a game on a Saturday. So
I will say this. It's funny because the coach that I was talking about, not the current coach at Johnny's alma mater, but it's a former coach and his wife. And they're like, nah, man, that trip, it might be like the one trip like a coach's wife wouldn't go on just because they don't get to enjoy much about anything. It's like you just go there, you wake up, you play football, and you get on a charter jet back to Boise or wherever you're going to after the game. So
those guys get no time.
Tough. No
players. I remember at one time asking Brian Harston or Avalos or somebody several years ago when they were going to Hawaii for a game about being a business trip or whatever. And I think it was Andy Avalos. He said, "Yeah, they're going to see the beach 2 times, when we take off and when we land. Like it's not that kind of trip. Bowl games are different. Maybe for a basketball team, if you're there for 3, 4, 5 days for a tournament, you get a little time. But if you're just going over there to play one game, they'll probably go over on Thursday, I would assume, and then have the day to acclimate, maybe a Wednesday night, I don't know, and then play the game and come back. But it's not like the team's getting a ton of time on the beach. And with the bye afterwards, I do think that certainly is a nice game. Somebody had a question for you here, Jay, but let's see, it moved down on the screen on me. Someone, Bronco 130 says, geez, Tust, did you do shoulders yesterday? # yoked.
It must be the angle. Must be the angle.
That shirt is the shirt makes it. The shoulders are looking good today, Jay.
I'll take it. Thank you for that.
let's move to basketball talk. Do you have any final football schedule thoughts or?
No, I think that's it. It should be a really compelling home schedule, though. I mean, anytime you get, 2 Pac-12, 2 whatever you want to call it, schools on the blue, and it's actually kind of interesting, BJ. I didn't realize it, but like out of those 3 schools, that they're going to play next year, Oregon's been the one that they've had easily the best success or most success against.
3-0, right?
And I mean, like, I hate to say it, but you can't really believe it, but Boise State's only 1-5 against Washington State all time. The lone win was in 2016. Luke Falk pick. Do you remember who had an 85-yard interception return in that game, BJ?
Wasn't Leighton Vander Esch, was it?
No.
85 Tanner. No, that's not Tannerville. Let me think about it. 85-yard interception return.
That was another game.
Cleashon Page.
That was a good guess.
I'm thinking. Who was it? I already heard you say part of the name.
Tyler Horton.
That's right. That's right. I remember whenever I think of Washington State, I think of the triple overtime game where Brett Rippon got the concussion and Montel Kozar came in. Boise State should have won that game. They got punt bounced off Reed Harrison Ducros, and then they turned that into like a crazy comeback. Boise State should have won on the road, would have been ranked. That's the game I remember.
Yeah, that was an all-timer. That was insane. The finish of that game was absolutely insane. Everything that happened, you're like, oh, no way. Oh, way. Was it Peyton Pallure? I can't remember the linebacker for Washington State. Oh gosh, that was such a game. They had that game in the bag.
All right, hey, Lithia Ford of Boise, appreciate them. LithiaFordBoise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. They got 5 NIL deals going on, including 3 football players. So they are the best in the business when it comes to selling you vehicles, but also supporting the local community as well. The Rains family, we purchased a vehicle from them. We found a couple we liked online. Went in, test drove one. In a couple hours, we were on our way. So, again, check them out, Lithia Ford Boise, LithiaFordBoise.com. Taco Bell is hiring, and, again, they will give you half your wages the very next day after your shift, and you get free food. So how can you turn down quick cash and free food? If you're looking for a job, TacoBellWorks.com. Check them out, the freestanding Treasure Valley-based Taco Bell locations, SON Management, the Nicolason family. Great food, great work environment, and if you're looking for a job, check them out at Taco Bell. The Blue and Orange Store, if you're looking for Boise State gear, shirts, hats, bumper stickers, cars, jerseys. Jay, I was buying a couple of mini helmets with the retro logo for the golf tournament coming up for the raffle. They had great prices on those. So the blueandorangestore.com, it's heaven if you're a Boise State fan. So check it out at the blueandorangestore.com. And if you're looking for a job, how about the trucking industry? Transportation Compliance Service. It's a national company based here in Meridian. Check them out. Transportation Compliance Service. If you want to get into the trucking industry, they can help you out with all the DOT overweight permits, everything you need. They can help you out. And again, check them out online at transcompservice.com. All right, Jay, we are about 12 minutes away from our special announcement. We have 227 people, which I guess are on watching to check out those shoulders, but some of them waiting for the special announcement. I really hope I didn't hype this up too much, but I think it's a pretty cool announcement, and we'll talk about it here in 12 minutes. But first, a huge game tomorrow night at ExtraMile Arena, 6 o'clock, Boise State, New Mexico. You're going to have a ticked-off New Mexico team coming in. You saw how great Boise State played after they lost on the road and then had a week to sit around. New Mexico is going to come in fired up after their loss to Air Force last week. They badly need a win or two down the stretch here to help their case. Big one for Boise State against New Mexico tomorrow night. I think the Broncos right on that almost lock status. If you can win, one game, you're probably fine. If you could take care of both home games, you're just sitting pretty. Nothing to lose going down to San Diego, and that's probably the goal. But obviously a big 3-game stretch starts in a sellout ExtraMile Arena tomorrow night.
Yeah, if Boise State can get this win, BJ, it would be massive for, I don't know, you can say a number of reasons, but not only do they get the head-to-head sweep with New Mexico, but, this is another chance for Boise State to pick up a quad 1 victory. And if they were to get this one, that would be 6 on the season, which just seems like a remarkable number to me, and a chance for the Broncos to defend their home court against a team that is very fiery. It's interesting to me because if you asked me back at the beginning of the season, I don't love the way that Boise State matches up with New Mexico, just because New Mexico's guard play. They they match up well with a lot of teams because of the guards they can run out there. But they dominated that first matchup, BJ. They had Tyson Dagenhart bringing the ball up the court. Great move by the coaching staff. I'm really curious to see what type of curveballs or how they counter that in round 2 against the Lobos. So it's going to be a really fun matchup and an opportunity for Bronco Nation to try to get inside the head of Jalen House, the head of the snake of the New Mexico men's basketball team.
Bracketologist.com, Jay, is a site that I like to use. Our man Dayton Robinson put me onto this. Bracketologist.com. It puts all this stuff. And the cool thing that I like about this, Jay, I put it on the screen here. You can choose teams that compare resumes, and you look right here at the net rankings, the Ken Palm, all these rankings right here on the screen. Boise State, in my opinion, has quietly passed some of these teams, and I don't know if they're necessarily getting the love on the bracket projections yet. As you know, Leon Rice and others have said, you know what, like there's only 12 people that their opinion actually matters when it comes to this. So maybe we shouldn't be concerned that they're going to see all this. And I will say this, Jay, they did their little top 16 reveal, but they don't reconvene till like next week. So they're not doing this every week like some of these bracketologists where maybe they miss something or realize the team's too low or high. Like when you take a fresh look at this and you haven't looked at this in a long time, come next week for the selection committee, I believe Boise State's going to get a little better love, in my opinion, than they're getting from some of these bracketologists. But Boise State now has the 3rd highest net ranking in the conference. It's number 25 versus number 26 tomorrow, by the way, in the net ranking. I'm stunned that New Mexico is still top 30, by the way, when you lose at home to Air Force. But it is what it is, and as you said, it's a quad 1 win. But you look at the Ken Palm numbers, Boise State up to 37. You got Nevada at 40. Utah State's down to 43. BPI, Boise State has rose. They're now 2nd in the conference at number 40 there. Bart Torvik, Boise State up to 36. So I guess the computer metrics don't really love Utah State. I mean, you look at a lot of their stats, Jay. I mean, I know they're leading the conference right now, which is worthy of a lot of stuff, but every other number, Boise State, for the most part, is except for the KPI there, Boise State's in a better spot than Utah State. You look at the out-of-conference strength of schedule, that's really going to weigh something for Boise State at number 30 compared to 273 for New Mexico, 258 for Nevada. There's a lot of numbers on here. Well, what stands out to you, I guess, about Boise State's resume and maybe some of these other teams also when you get into the quad wins and all that?
Man, the thing that's kind of shocking for me is how much credit Colorado State's getting, in all honesty. And that's a program. I mean, I believe in the Rams, and I think they're good. Don't get me wrong here, but to finish 7th in the Mountain West Conference, which is kind of where they're at right now, and maybe that's not where they end up, but that's where they're at right now. If that happens, man, that's I would love to know how many teams that finished 7th in the Mountain West Conference have made the NCAA tournament, let alone got a decent seed at the NCAA tournament. And somebody's going to get left out there in the top, 7, maybe a couple of teams if that holds true. If Colorado State gets in and gets a decent seed. So I want to make it clear, I don't really have too much against the Rams, but I do think it's interesting that they still are getting quite a bit of respect, despite, an 8-8 record in Mountain West Conference play. I think, isn't it 8-8 right now, BJ? I believe it's 8-8 in Mountain West Conference play.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you there on New Mexico as well. I mean, I know that they've, New Mexico is a team for me that when you look at some of the games that they've lost too, I just I don't know. I'm very intrigued by New Mexico and how they lost to Air Force and only went down like 5 spots or something in the net rankings. The league is just getting a ton of respect right now, Jay. But I think that, at least one Mountain West team is probably going to have to end up in Dayton. I would assume, like, yeah, we'll give you 6, but one of them has to go to Dayton, maybe 2, depending on how it works in the tournament. But I don't know. I think Boise State, Jay, if they could win 2 of these 3 games and win a game or 2 in the tournament, I don't put too much stock into the tournament because I believe that the bracket is almost already done by Thursday. The big legwork on the seedings and ranking teams ahead of I don't think 3 quad 1 wins is going to make you go from an 8 to a 4 on Selection Sunday in the tournament. But with that said, I think I think Boise State is solidly in the tournament, Jay, as an 8 or 9 right now. But I think if they could win at least 2 of these 3 games, I don't think a 6 or a 7 is out of the question for this team. I really don't.
No, I mean, we saw that last year, right? When all was said and done, they actually ended up as a 7 seed against Northwestern. So not only was it a favorable seed for the NCAA tournament, I would say it was a favorable opponent, or at least a beatable opponent. And then the geographical location was, pretty good too. And so if they can work themselves into that type of position this year, heck, I'm not even necessarily worried about the seed. If they can get another side out west, even close-ish to home, that would be awesome, and stay somewhere in that 7-8 range. I mean, I would take a nice closer game than maybe being a seed line or two higher, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Salt Lake and Spokane are the two out here. It looks like Salt Lake is going to have an 8-9 game, because it looks like if Arizona is a 1 seed, they're going to be obviously in the in Salt Lake. I think I saw Memphis was another spot where you may get Houston to go there, so you'd have an 8-9 in Memphis. Indianapolis, where Purdue is going to go, you'd have an 8-9 there to play them, and then Brooklyn would be the less than ideal one, probably, Jay. Brooklyn with UConn out there as a 1, probably.
Yeah, that would be a tough one for us to sell too. That would be, obviously we would go, but that would be, I would already imagine the plane ticket to get out there would be robust, if you will.
Yeah, but I guess what's the best case scenario? What's worst case scenario here for these last 3 games for Boise State, Jay?
Win out, and gosh, man, in the Mountain West this year, if they win out, that means at the very, very least they're co-champs. I don't know how they're not in a discussion for like a 6-7 seed if they win out. Like I feel like I should be able to say a 5 seed even, but if they were to win out, man, especially because that would be capped to the road win at San Diego State. Gosh, it feels like they would just have an impeccable resume. I mean, like, we go back here, BJ, and we talked about how the schedule did get a little lighter here for a couple of weeks. Well, now it's back into the gauntlet again for the final stretch run. And, for Boise State, that means 2 more quad 1 games. And that doesn't even count Nevada, who is just barely, pretty much on the outside of the quad 1 looking in. And even Utah State right now is outside of quad 1 technically. Well, for the game that Boise State hosted, I suppose.
Yeah. Adam wants Boise and Charlotte, he says. Sorry, guys. You may be the only one, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah, you Muggsy Bogues.
Well, it should be exciting. And again, I think 2 of 3, Jay. Win these 2 home games. That's the goal. Win the 2 home games. You would go to San Diego with no worse than you have a chance with a win to share the title. At worst, you lose. You're the 2 seed. But you take care of business in both these home games. I think you are just absolutely sitting pretty. I mean, I'm sure you want to go 3-0, but I mean 2-1, any two wins of these 3 would be great. I think 1 is enough to kind of avoid quote unquote disaster going into the conference tournament. Just win 1 of these 3 games, and I think you want to win tomorrow, man, because it's a 6:00 game. It's a sellout. I don't think the crowd's going to be as good for the 9 p.m. game on senior night, which kind of stinks. I've seen way more tickets still available for that one. But if you, like you said, get the sweep over New Mexico, if it comes down to seeding for NCAA tournament, conference tournament, whatever, that would carry some weight. So I think you win tomorrow, and then you kind of take a deep breath and then try to do it again on Tuesday. But I'm fired up for tomorrow, man. Game sold out 3 days early, Jay. That just doesn't happen around here.
You know the unfortunate thing, man. Darius Brown II banks in a 30-footer at to force overtime, which just foul Fresno State, and you win that freaking game. But the scenario there that would have been cool, and I'm assuming would have helped ticket sales for that Nevada game, on top of being senior night, had Utah State lost that, had Boise State won on Saturday, then a win over Nevada would at the very least claim a share of a co-conference championship.
Could have cut down the nets.
Could have cut down the nets, man. And now you're relying on.
Hey, they're playing tonight. I think Air Force can beat Utah State tonight. Come on.
That one's at the Dean Glenn Smith Spectrum. So I don't love their chances, but hey,
what I just saw from that Air Force team the other night, man. Come on.
Air Force has pulled off upsets just as wild, winning at the Pit and also winning by 32 at UNLV.
Hey, join us. Speaking of the conference tournament, 2 weeks. It's crazy. It's 2 weeks from today. We'll be out there at the pool. Looking forward to that. Friday, March 15th. Join us 2 weeks from today. Free entry to Stadium Swim. If you send me an email, rains@bronconationnews.com. Send me an email. We'll get you on the VIP free cover list, and you get to hang out all day with Johnny and Prater and myself and get ready for the semifinals of the tournament. So if you're excited about the Mountain West basketball tournament, and you got nothing to do all day Friday while you're waiting for the 6 o'clock semifinals, join us at Stadium Swim next Friday. Email me. We'll hook you up. All right, Jay Tust, we are 90 seconds through our big, cool announcement we're excited about. Going to take our final commercial break. Our special guest is going to join us, and we'll fill you in on some cool news with BNN coming up in 90 seconds. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU, and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, Jay Tust, really excited about this. Bronco Nation News, we've been going about 2 years or so. We've pushed the envelope with the pre- and post-game shows on location, bringing on Jay Tust, John Mallory, Mike Prater to do the morning shows. We've been doing a lot of cool stuff here, Jay, and it's been fun to do this. I'm glad that you've been a part of it, and glad that you're going to be a part of this announcement here, because as we continue, and I got way bigger goals than this for the future of Bronco Nation News, but for the first time in history, Jay Tust, Bronco Nation News is going to stream and broadcast a live Boise State game, and that game will be with the guest that is joining us now. There he is, Justin Schultz, the softball coach at Boise State. And yes, next Thursday, the home opener for the Boise State softball team will be broadcast live on Bronco Nation News. And assuming we can work it out with his agent, we're in the final stages. Jay Tust and I will be on the call. And really looking forward to this. Justin Schultz, thank you for joining us. And how excited are you to be on Bronco Nation News next week?
Oh, I'm very excited. I think this is a unique experience, not only for softball, but for Boise State in general, getting to kind of get an inside look at a non-conference game, and excited. It looks like Jay's in sunny San Diego somewhere outside.
You weren't supposed to. He's enjoying a few days with his family. You weren't supposed to call him out for that. But
whatever.
Okay, so a couple of things that you mentioned there. First of all, this is not my intern Jaden up there with a webcam behind home plate. This is going to be a fully produced Mountain West Network style broadcast with all of the multiple cameras, replays, everything a normal person watching a Mountain West Network softball game would see. But I'm excited for this because we're going to go a little further with this, Justin, and you've been gracious enough to agree to some of this, but we're actually going to be able to talk to you in the middle of the game. And even in a couple instances while you're coaching third base, we're hoping we can get Jay Tust to call a hit and run at some point during the game. We'll see what we can do. But we're wanting to kind of learn about your team, learn about your program, yourself. And I think a cool way to do that in the home opener is to go a little behind the scenes here. So you're gonna not speak too loud because you are near the Kennesaw State dugout there coaching third, but you're going to give us some insight to some of the things you're doing, some of the things you're calling, what we're seeing during the game. Kind of an unprecedented, kind of never before type broadcast here where you're going to give us some cool access.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think anytime we can build our brand, not only at Boise State, but for our softball student athletes, it's been fun to do. We play a tough schedule for a reason. We want to be on national TV constantly. And it's really for the athletes that are currently here, and then obviously for the future athletes to see we will play anybody anywhere. And I think this is fun because I don't think this has been done in softball. You see it on MLB TV sometimes, but it's a little nerve-wracking. I'm a little bit of a loose cannon out there sometimes at third base, but we'll have fun with it, and it's going to be a great experience.
I have seen Justin Schultz get thrown out of a game before, so BJ, you might need to have the bleep button ready, just in case. No, I'm kidding. Justin, you look at what you guys have done so far this season, some of the teams you've beaten. You said that you'll play anybody anywhere, basically, and I think you've proven that. How pleased are you with the way this season has started and some of those, big name programs that you guys have been able to take down?
Yeah, I think it's always interesting. You never know what you're getting into. Obviously, we got a tough slate this weekend with Stanford twice, Georgia and Cal twice, but I think our team has done a very, very good job with people still utilizing their COVID year one more time in softball. We have a relatively young team, and it's really been exciting to see how they've responded, how they've competed against some of these older teams. Like we went out to LSU, and I think they had 7 seniors in their starting lineup and really hung with them all the way. And honestly, if we clean up a few things, I think we could walk away with a W on a really, really big stage. And so we're close. It's not perfect, and I know we've got a lot of work to do to get to where we want to go, but we are very close, and I really like the fight in this team.
I want to get back to the broadcast, but one more general question. You did have a tough one last night. Ran into a heck of a pitcher there with number 7 Stanford. But this has to be the first time in history. I mean, they have 2 games against top 10 teams today. You talk about challenging themselves. Number 3 Georgia this afternoon, also number 7 Stanford. So, Justin, first of all, on a game day, we appreciate you giving us a couple minutes here. But 2 top 7 teams in the same day. You mentioned playing Georgia again later this weekend. Just an incredible schedule and an opportunity here this weekend.
Yeah, we expect to compete with anybody. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of learning on the way. Stanford's pitcher, Kennedy, last night, she threw well, but we played slower than we're expecting our team to do. Partially that's on the coaching staff and myself in particular. We had a rain delay, and we got to figure out more creative ways to get us to start fast in those situations. But when we dig a 3-0 hole against a pitcher of that caliber, it's challenging. But I liked the fight in our team, especially in the box. I thought we had some competitive at-bats, just didn't really go our way.
All right, again, next Thursday, 5 o'clock's the scheduled start time. There is a game before this, so it could be a little iffy, but it's going to be on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube of Bronco Nation News, and we have purchased the rights to this game. This cost Bronco Nation News some money. We purchased the rights to this game. Again, it's going to be a full regular broadcast. This is not me up there with a webcam moving it around. Jay and I scheduled to be on the call. We're going to have some fun, and it is a regular season game. It is the home opener. So I don't know if you know any early thoughts on Kennesaw State, but again, we're going to have fun with this. It's going to be insightful, but we're going to take this serious, and it is a regular season game that counts in the standings for you guys. We'll talk to you at third base a little bit. Might get the headset on you for an inning or two in the dugout when time allows. But what was it? I know this was actually your idea, just to be completely honest. You kind of came to us, and it was kind of a joke, kind of serious, Justin. But what is it about this type of opportunity that intrigued you, I guess, to try to have us pull off?
Yeah, first of all, you guys do an amazing job of covering Boise State athletics, and anytime we can be creative and maybe unique in how we get our student athletes seen by a larger population is, I think, at the forefront for our coaching staff. We're always trying to push that. And so with this exciting, definitely a little nerve-wracking situation, it should be a lot of fun, and it's going to give our athletes the audience that they deserve.
Do you have to you have to have the little talk, let them know about this?
Yeah, we'll definitely sit down, and that's part of playing this tough schedule. We've been on the SEC network, Pac-12 network, and so we're used to the media being around more than probably my first year here, and so it's part of it. There's going to be distractions, but that's kind of what we sign up for.
SEC network, ESPN Plus, Big Ten network, whatever, and then you see Jay Tust roll up into the press box to call it for Mountain West Network and BNN. I would think that hopefully they're prepared for this one, but I'm not sure if you've done enough yet.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, guys.
Hey, we appreciate. Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say, Justin, I just wanted to point out, talk about Sydney Groves real quick. She's making a big jump. How good has she been for you guys earlier this year?
Oh yeah, she's been awesome. It's nice to see her. She can play multiple positions. Been at third base, first base. Really in the bulk of our order. A local kid. We knew she was going to do big things, and last year was a little bit of a learning year for her, and she's really kind of taken that role of a big contributor when it comes to RBIs and power numbers for us early in this season.
Well, hey, Justin, we'll let you get back to the prep. I think it's 1:30 Mountain Time. You guys got number 3 Georgia, 4 o'clock, number 7 Stanford. Good luck today. Good luck the rest of the weekend. We'll touch base next week, and we're really excited, man. Thanks for allowing this, and I think it's going to be cool for the viewers, maybe the non-traditional diehard softball fans that kind of get a little insight to what's going through a coach's mind during a game, things you don't think about, what you're looking at when you're over there studying the defense. I think it's going to be a really cool thing, and we appreciate you for it, and I think it's going to be a positive for both sides, and we're looking forward to it next week. Thanks a lot, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys, and excited to do this show with you guys.
There he is. Appreciate it, Justin. Justin Schultz. Jay, what are your you broadcasted a lot of games. Have you ever done a softball game before?
No, we did baseball back up in Lewiston. The NAI World Series had a blast doing it. It's obvious. I mean, baseball has my heart as the number one. Is my sport that I played growing up. So I love the game, and softball is obviously very similar. My dad played like semi-pro fast pitch, and I don't know if you've ever played fast pitch, man.
I'm not even good. I've tried slow pitch. I couldn't even imagine playing
fast pitch is the real deal, dude. Like I'll say the reaction time is insane. I was let's just say I struggled. Shane Alder, the Capital softball coach, can absolutely bring it. He's like one of the best pitchers in the country or something like that. Like he travels. He's really good.
I know you play a little slow pitch, Jay. I can't imagine there's too many players in the Valley that are better at slow pitch softball than you.
No, I'm sure there's tons. God, I'm getting old, man. Getting old.
You're almost at the age now where your little ones can come out and watch Dad tear it up on the field, though.
I don't move like I used to, so I'm going to leave it up to Justin Schultz and his team to provide the entertainment.
All right, a couple of quick comments before we get out of here. Bob, appreciate it. Says great next step for BNN. Is this a one-time thing, or did we buy the rights for all home games? This is a one-time thing for softball, but for now, we'll see what happens. This is a kind of a test, Jay, to see if how terrible I am at play-by-play. And my wife asked me what my home run call was going to be, and it's like, oh man, it's just going to happen. I guess I don't know. Maybe we'll alternate so Jay can have a couple innings. I'll take a couple innings, and we'll see. But I have a bad feeling like midway through the first inning when I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm gonna go, Jay, you got the rest of this one, man. It's gonna be fun, and like I said, it's not gonna be a traditional 1-1 pitch. I mean, it's gonna be more of a conversational, and I think it's gonna be fun. We can bring in, and there's a chance too. John Mallory, he gets off his show at 6 o'clock. I think he's hoping to bust it over and maybe join us for the last inning or two, so we could get some help there at the end of the game with Johnny if we can pull it off. But this is a one-time thing for now. We'll see what happens, and it's I'm looking forward to it. Going to be fun. So Jay, excited for you to hopefully be a part of it. It's going to be cool, just something different. And next Thursday, before the Friday San Diego State basketball game. So looking forward to that next week. And yeah, I mean, they're playing number 3 and number 7 in one day, Jay. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they have had a murderer's row of preseason games, and they've won a lot of them, man. Like they'll be tough. They'll compete today. I have no doubt.
I just said I might bring on John Mallory, and he's saying I should bring on Bob Costas or Joe Buck. I think we might be stuck with you, Johnny. That's probably where that's the same level of broadcasting. But
let's see how fast Johnny can make it over to the stadium.
We'll let Johnny do a little play-by-play for an inning if he can make it over in time.
Yeah, get off. I think the show ends at like 5:56. You should be able to be there by 6:03. We'll tell Schultz to do a couple more mound visits, stall a little bit, and it'll be the second inning when he gets there. Maybe that first game will run long, and then John can take the whole broadcast.
That would be perfect. That would be awesome. Hey, appreciate you, Jay. Enjoy the time with your family. Have you been to a Mariners game yet?
Going today. See him. We're gonna watch him play the Rockies, so I'll have my scouting report done after this.
Look at that. That's awesome. I wasn't gonna say it, but Schultz called you out, so everybody saw. But hey,
all good.
Appreciate it, man.
Not in Idaho.
Yeah, I got. You know what? It's actually really cloudy and kind of rainy and cold today, so we're all very jealous of you. But appreciate it, Jay, as always, man. Get back to the fam. Have a good couple of days. We'll talk to you soon. Yep. And Tuesday will be a big one. We will have the New Mexico game to talk about, a game day. We'll be on at 9 a.m. Tuesday, 12 hours before tip-off. That's going to be a fun day. We need a couple extra cups of Bronco Brew coffee for that one. But appreciate it, Jay, and we will talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good, buddy.
There he is, Jay Tust. Appreciate him for joining us. And again, Bronco Nation News. Super excited about this. I am hopeful that this was a big enough announcement for you guys. I know there was some Ashton Genty show and some other talk, and we'll love to see where we can continue to do it. But for what we're trying to build at BNN, to get an official agreement with Boise State to kind of take that next step and have a live broadcast of a Boise State sport on our air, I'm just super, super excited about this. This is costing us money, but this is due to your subscriptions, due to our sponsors. We're continuing to push the envelope. I'm not just putting all this money in my pocket. We're reinvesting in the program, reinvesting in Bronco Nation News, and this is a nice step in that direction. So excited to be able to air this softball game. And I mean, this is going to be really cool. Like, Justin Schultz is going to be coaching third base and like talking to us during the game. Like, this is never before seen type of stuff. So we're going to get some really cool behind the scenes access. There's a chance we might even get to like interview an outfielder during the game. Like, it's going to be pretty darn cool. So even if you're not a diehard softball fan, make plans at 5:00 on Thursday to check this out. And it is going to be fully archived on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook of Bronco Nation News later on. So if you can't watch it live, we own the rights. That's right. BNN owns the rights to this game, and it will be, we'll live on in infinity online forever on our Twitter and Facebook and YouTube games. So you can watch this later. So, someone's asking about some of the other sports. Again, this is just the first game. We're going to kind of test it out, see how it goes, and see if there's good interest. And if we get good viewership and folks watching it and it goes well, we would love to expand this in the future. So we've got to start somewhere, and we're starting with the softball game. And again, Justin Schultz was the one that made this happen. He was very into this and wanted to make this happen. Not a lot of coaches would allow for this kind of access, but frankly, for me to make it worth it to me to pay the money to do this, there had to be some of that, and Justin Schultz stepped up and said, whatever you need, let's do it. And so this is the home opener next Thursday. If you're going to be at the game, great, we'll see you there. But if you can't make it, 5:00 for the home opener, we will Jay and I will have the call for you there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It ain't going to be your traditional just here's the 1-1 pitch. We're going to have tell stories and have a good time. Maybe I really want to get into Jay's baseball career. I mean, Jay was drafted into the minor leagues, and I don't think a lot of people know that. Justin Schultz was also drafted into the minor leagues. So one of those in-game interviews may have to have a little fun with the baseball careers or lack thereof of Jay Tust and Justin Schultz. But looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, it is going to be next Thursday. We'll tell you more about it next week. But big game for Boise State on Saturday. I did fill up another spot today. If you played last year or you played the first year, if you've played in the past and you want to reserve your foursome, email me. Timberstone Golf Course, May 31st is the tournament. Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com, our third annual BNN golf tournament. We are only taking spots right now for folks that played last year. You stepped up and played last year. You get first dibs to play again. So we'll put it on sale to the general public here in a couple of weeks. Save the date, get your group together, and be ready to get in because this thing is going to sell out. We have the morning and the afternoon flights. The morning's at 8:30. The afternoon is at 1:30. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're also looking to do an event the night before on May 30th with some of the speeches and a little happy hour with some of the special guests. Maybe even raffle off some of our bigger celebrities and getting them in your foursome to raise more money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. So if you played last year and you want in, email me. And also, there's another way you can reserve a spot. You can get a whole sponsorship. If you your business steps up and gets a whole sponsorship, or you become a sponsor of the tournament, that includes a foursome. So we're taking those as well. That's one way to cut to the front of the line and make sure you get in is to sponsor a whole. So Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com. Send me an email, and we will get that set up for you. Our winner of our trip on the private jet to San Diego, he is going to join us on the pregame show tomorrow, Roy Miller. He has been hunting up in the mountains. He is a huge Boise State fan. I talked to him again yesterday, and he just said he can't wait for next week, and he's been watching all these games and excited knowing how much is going to be on the line next week, and we are really looking forward to getting down to San Diego, but we will all get to meet Roy Miller on the pregame show tomorrow. Looking forward to talking to our winner for that. And again, the game is at 6:00, so we'll be live about 5:00 at ExtraMile Arena. Sellout crowd. Tickets on the secondary market are going for over $100 for this game. It is going to be the place to be tomorrow. Just an electric atmosphere at ExtraMile Arena. Cannot wait to get there and see what happens. Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn Jr., Donovan Dent, Coach Richard Pitino. I mean, the New Mexico Lobos is one of the most talented teams in the league, and they're fighting for their NCAA tournament lives. It's going to be awesome tomorrow. And again, 5 p.m. will be the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, 5 p.m. on the BNN channels. We'll have the post-game show as well. So appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Subscribe if you can. You see that promo code at the bottom of the screen, BNN50 deal. BroncoNationNews.com. You got Mike Prater's column. You got my column on the football schedule. We're heading down to talk to Leon Rice. He's talking in about 30 minutes, so I got to roll. But we will talk to Coach Rice and get that video up on the YouTube channel later today as well. So a lot going on at BNN, and we appreciate your support and your sponsorships and subscriptions and watching these videos and liking them and retweeting them and sharing them. All that stuff matters. All that stuff adds up. So, Chris, very kind of you to say. A couple nice comments on here. It is a great next step in a growing company. Appreciate you for saying that. The ladies' families will be able to watch. This is great. Yeah, a lot of cool comments, and appreciate you guys. This is just the start as we continue to build BNN, and it's only because of the support we get from all of you viewers and subscribers and advertisers for making this happen. So thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your Friday. Check BNN later for a preview of the basketball game and to hear from Leon Rice. And we'll talk to you at 5 p.m. tomorrow from ExtraMile Arena. Big one for the Broncos, and we'll have you covered at Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.